So, all right. So here we are today. I'm here with the lovely Iman from Chocolat, and we've known each other for quite a few years. I don't even know.
Yes.
It feels kind of timeless in a way, because I
Yes.
don't know when I first learned about your brand. And then I think the first time we met was in D3 at one of the
Yes.
outdoor markets, but
Yeah.
we had
But we've
been
been-
messaging a lot
Yes.
before then.
I don't know if it's 2019 or 2020, but we met in person in 2020.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It feels longer than that, honestly.
But I think, yeah, we've been in touch. I think, yeah, but I think 2019.
Okay,
2019, yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking before this discussion about a lot of commonalities. So maybe you believe, in previous lives,
Yeah.
or how we
Kindred
crossed each other,
spirits.
kindred spirits.
Kindred
Exactly.
spirits.
I think there's a lot of commonalities in that. So let me just take a sip of mine. Enjoying my lovely cafe mocha
Yeah.
with chocolate.
Yes, of course.
It's so good.
What's having a chocolate factory and inviting your friends if you don't serve coffee with chocolate?
It's perfection. So I highly recommend. It's one thing if you want to come out here to their factory, you can come visit. There's a cafe here, but if you're just going to come out here and drink a cappuccino, I mean, that's great, but I highly recommend that you get as much chocolate as you can.
Yes. And then grab some plants in the
Yeah,
plant
it's right
nursery.
beside the plant soup. The location is amazing. So it's a beautiful outing. It's wonderful. But let's go back and let's start from the beginning.
Mhm.
How was this concept born, or even before that, your interest in food, interest in chocolate? Tell us your story.
We come from a cooking food family. So my mother used to cater food. She used to cook. So my summers were spent packing savory food, packing rice. And during my school days, I think I was 12 years or 11 years old. We were selling cupcakes in school.
So you already know so much about the food industry
Yeah.
before.
I already knew that if you sell this much, your mom gives you this much as commission. So this is, I think, how the business, the entrepreneur in us started. And we were selling tamarind
Yeah.
sweets. So it's kind of built in us to have food as a business. Although I am by education, I'm a physical therapist. I took the licensure exam, took 6 years studying physical therapy in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I came here to Dubai, I worked in fitness first.
Oh,
Yeah, I worked in fitness first.
I did not know this part of the story.
Yeah, I worked in fitness first, and that's when I realized, wow, it's so much more fun to be working with healthy, happy, energized people all the time, and it gave me a different view of how being a physical therapist can translate into something more. It's more fun because I used to deal with people with stroke, rehab. I used to do a lot of pediatric physical therapy.
Oh, wow.
For children with developmental delay. So it was then that personally for me, I discovered marketing and I studied again. And then 2007, my sister and I got a scholarship from Citibank to be part of an entrepreneurial course. So that's when it got really, it catalyzed something in us. What if we become entrepreneurs? And I think 2 years later, I set up my own hotel supplies company. So imagine from being a physical therapist, working in a fitness club, then I started doing design and manufacture of hotel accessories.
Amazing.
And I still have that. And by 2015, my sister and I started talking. I have been doing my business for quite some time. And she was working in private equity. And we said, what can we do that we both love? We were thinking, food, specifically chocolates. Like we cannot get enough of chocolates. And we noticed that every year, dark chocolates seem to be becoming just more sweet, like sweeter and sweeter. And the dark chocolates we used to love are not anymore as dark. And we started thinking, look, our mother has diabetes. If we continue eating at in the pace that we were eating, consuming sweets, inshallah, we hope it doesn't happen, but we might have, we'll go in the same route. And that's when we started thinking, what if we do healthy chocolates? So by 2016, we flew to the south of the Philippines where we discovered, first we discovered cacao is the main ingredient of chocolates. We're quite ignorant about these things. We're just like your normal people who love chocolates, but we weren't really looking at the ingredients. But we started thinking, if we're going to do chocolates, then we have to study well what is the main ingredient and how can we make it, healthier.
I love that.
Yeah.
Curiosity is so important when you're wanting to do something or trying to do something new, or you want to improve it, or you just want to do a good job at it.
Yes.
That curiosity and entrepreneurship and everything else is super.
It's super crucial. And we didn't want to enter, this industry not knowing anything and just do what everyone was doing, because we wanted to create change. And we already knew there's nothing in the market which is called healthy chocolates. So we said, okay, let's find out. And when we went to the Philippines in Mindanao, so we attended a course for cacao production. So we found out that cacao actually grows on trees. Wow, I didn't know that. Cacao actually needs the hands of farmers to cultivate it because it's so important to prune, the process of pruning in cacao production. And that's also the time that we met government officials, non-governmental organizations, whose role, imagine this, one of them talked to us, and he said their role was to elevate farmer income to 1,500 pesos.
Wow.
What is 1,500 pesos?
Convert to?
For a family, 100 dirhams. And at that time,
A month?
a month for a family to increase the farmer income to that level.
And you're like, what are they making now? What do you know what they were making before that?
I'm not sure exactly how much, but for us, sitting, discussing that to our family members, to just recapping what our cohort, our classmates told us, like, look, we're sitting here in this fast food, eating 100 dirhams worth of food, which a family, some hundreds of miles away are going to spend for a month. I mean, they don't even have it. The goal is just to have 1,500 dirhams, 1,500 pesos or 100 dirhams. Right?
And even that might not even be enough to live off of. That might just be basics if they need something, if they have,
how
they get sick or
how can children go to school with 100 dirhams a month? It's just, and that's and for us it changed our perception. We were like, from people who want to have healthy chocolates, have another line of business. We said, look, we've been lucky, we've been blessed. I have my own business. Luchie was working in a private equity firm. We've been really blessed. We could have been, if fate had it that we were born in that family, we could be in that situation. But we have the capacity to change things. We are armed with this knowledge how to produce cacao. We have some connections. So we can do something. And that's when we said, let's put our chocolatey dreams in the back burner, and let's do something. Like, we're not rich, so we cannot just give charity. So we studied, okay, what's a social enterprise? And then we even studied what's a cooperative. So what are the differences? And by then, I mean, I had the experience already of running a business. So I already knew, we have some idea already of what profit and loss means and what it's like to invest money. And we said, okay, I think the best business format would be a social enterprise. And we rallied from 2016 to 2017, more than 50 friends to put in some money so we can all build this social enterprise and help our Filipino farmers. And we called it Overseas Filipino Workers Supporting Filipino Farmers. In short, it's called OPM.
I love that.
Yeah, and last year we distributed dividends to our investors. And it's not super big, but
No, but
we
the
already
fact that it's
started.
growing
Yeah.
in that capacity
Yeah.
is the social proof that
It can work.
yeah, my eyes are like tearing up. This is so special.
It is, it is. And imagine, so from the side of the farmers, so you are educating them, empowering them. And then the other side, normally some Filipinos, after working for so long abroad, they go home still with nothing.
Mm.
Why? Because they were trying to, what's that saying? With the Joneses, just trying to keep up with the Joneses. And Dubai, the UAE can be like that. Yeah. You know, there's a certain lifestyle, there's a certain, so we even have two nannies who invested. So imagine, not only are they helping our Filipino farmers, or they're empowering them, but they're getting back their money. And they knew even from the beginning, agriculture is not, you know, it's not a business where, okay, in 1 year, 2 years, you're gonna have your money back. We really told them, yeah, it's a long-term thing. And after, in 2018, we started doing pop-ups, and by 2019, we were aggressively doing online, you know, online sales. It was 2020 that we decided, look, they should also be part of Chocolat now, our investors. Because if you think about it, the social enterprise is a different business. But we thought, look, they helped us, you know, build Chocolat, not for our friends who believed in us, because, you know, it was just an idea. You know, two sisters with a mother, with a diabetic mother who went to Mindanao and like, we want to help the farmers, you know. And they trusted us, you know, it's not a big amount, it's 10,000 dirhams, but still, even
That's a lot of money.
it's a lot, exactly, it's a lot of money. And
Yeah.
and for somebody to, you know, to put their money into an idea, it's something huge. And even the government, they trusted us, they gave us seedlings, and we distributed that to farmers whom we have taught. I think by year 2017 or before the pandemic, more than 100 farmers were already benefiting from that, from the social enterprise. And now, because we now have this factory, alhamdulillah, we have, you know, we need more chocolates. I think more than 300 farmers now, if I'm not mistaken, are already benefiting from, you know, from what we're doing. And it's both humbling, and it's, you know, it makes you proud because look, guys, we all did it. And even I have staff who have been with us from the beginning, who, you know, when you met us in our you know, in pop-ups, it's a lot of hard work when you do pop-ups. Some people, they only see, oh, it's a pretty pop-up, and it's
Yeah,
like
or some people, some of the pop-ups you see, also you don't always see like the owners out there, you know, selling the products, talking about it, doing it. So just knowing it's been a labor of love, where
that's been
how long people think, oh, overnight sensations or these things happen very quickly. But this is the thing I love about your brand, is that it's supporting so many people
yes
that need support. And also not a lot of brands, you know, talk about where the source is coming from, or how it's improving society or communities, or things like this. And yeah, the pop-up I just mentioned because that's where we met, but those do take a lot of effort, a lot of time.
You know, when we were doing pop-ups in Right Market, we are always the first to arrive. if the pop-up starts at 9, we'd already be there by 7 or before 7 in the morning. So, and then in the evening, when everyone has gone and left, it's only us still egressing, or, you know, packing up the things. Why? Because we've always believed in our brand, and we've always had a vision how it will look like. What's the experience?
I see that though. If you've ever been to a pop-up, and I'm not saying the other booths aren't good, but when you come, and everyone that walks by, they will stop at the Chocolat booth, because you feel that energy. It's beautiful. It's presented so well. And not that no one else is out there trying. I'm gonna say the other booths are horrible. They're not. But all you see is like, oh, there's a booth and, you know, there's a product there.
Yeah.
But your booths do offer a lot. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot for you to talk to share about the brand. So I think that
And you know
really
why?
comes across.
You know why, Pam? Because people first eat with their eyes. People first, you know, you might, there might be something which is delicious and healthy or whatever, but if it doesn't look nice, are you even gonna stop and look at it?
Ask my son.
Yeah.
When I'm always pushing these healthy, you know, I'm all plant-based and stuff like that. And the first thing is make it look appealing, because if it doesn't, but you're so right. And even now that we have social media, how many of you out there, when you get a dish, you take a picture of it?
Exactly.
The first thing I did when I walked in here was take pictures of it.
Exactly.
I mean, I know it, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so important.
And I've always known that from the beginning. And normally we notice healthy stuff, like healthy food and drinks. They're like, they look so healthy that
it's not gonna taste good. Yeah, you don't want to be
So
something that tastes like
let's
cardboard.
make healthy attractive as well. And I mean, like, should look also fancy, and you know, if you're, it should be cool. Should look cool.
And that all healthy food should be cool and attractive. Unhealthy food should not be attractive because it makes us unattractive on the inside. It damages our body. So it's just logical to me that to do
but
that.
Not a lot of people think about it. It's like and I guess, like I said, it helped that I studied marketing, because it helps that you think about how people think, and you're like, yeah, this is how people think, and we have a great product, so let's make it presentable to them. So that they have no way of saying no.
I love that. But I think, I mean, it's one thing, yes, you do need to make it presentable, and at Diet Point, we're also very particular about how we package a product, the bag that it goes out in. These different things like this, we're not gonna change that quality. However, also there's magic in the energy, the effort, and the love that you put into the product as well, because people can see through the packaging too. Correct. If what's underneath isn't really
even for I think it was just last year. Last year we introduced an option for minimalist packaging. And the reason for this is, for me, from a business, from an entrepreneur's point of view, when you enter the market, you have more to prove. Like you have on these shoulders, you need to prove that you're safe, you're healthy, that you're worth the price. So you enter with a nice packaging, but as we go along, now the brand equity is there. Like people know if it's from Chocolat, they believe in this, it tastes good, it's now we have the luxury of putting the minimalist packaging. So on the website, if anyone's ordering, and even when they buy from our shops, they can say, I want to go for the minimalist packaging, and they will have a compostable bag. And this came from our customers requesting it, because they said, one particular customer said, I already have too many of your beautiful bags. And I want, if you can come up with a nice biodegradable bag. But we said, okay, let's not even make it just biodegradable. Let's make it compostable. So,
I need to talk to you about this. I have so much to learn from you. You're so much ahead. But this is
because we compost. Because we compost. Even here in my villa, we started with just a hole, and now I've gotten 2 holes, and it's addictive.
It is,
because you can really see how this paper, after some time, you need to put the effort. You have to water it. You need to keep it at a certain, what do you call this, like a situation. But in the end, it will become this helpful organic thing, which your plants, and
when you see what it does to your plants, you can't stop, and you're thinking, who would not do this?
And all of us will have peelings. We will have, always have extra, what's it called, with the base of our lettuce, the base of our vegetables. You always have something.
There's always something to
Yeah.
compost that should not be going in the bin. We do the same. And I inherited my compost. One of my neighbors, they moved back to their home country and they were very DIY people.
Wow.
She was from Texas, which where I grew up, and she was just lovely. And she's like, "Hey, I got some compost if you want it." I'm like, "Yes," because I've been wanting to start, but compost, y'all, in the Texas vernacular, y'all. Think of the largest like garbage bins from Ace Hardware, and then her husband just drilled holes all throughout that.
Yeah.
And it was full.
Mhm.
And we're constantly composting it. And I don't know where she found it, you know, in the middle of Dubai. Of course you can find it. There's places that they have huge bags of hay and other things that we put into it.
Yeah.
So there's always waste. And when I started doing that, and when I realized how full we could keep that container, there's a lot.
There's
Just
a lot.
by doing with so little effort,
Yeah.
it can make such a big difference.
It's just that we have to put in that effort. But if we don't start, you don't, like for us, we put in our fridge, these are the green ones and the brown ones. So we know which ones, you know, because there has to be a certain percentage or a fraction of the browns and the greens. So, you know, once you get used to it, okay, you can put there some pieces of paper. You can put, you know, coffee grounds. You can put so many things there. And it just becomes like a.
I see a future episode just focusing on compost.
Might sound boring,
Iman's
but
compost class.
and you know what's addictive? Because we do have that piece of soil there of garden, and it's very therapeutic when you're trying to.
It is. It's like a meditation.
It is.
It makes me so happy. The front garden I was telling you about, when I started to put it in, I was just out there shoveling everything.
Yeah, this shoveling.
Oh,
it's you know,
I was almost
at the end of the day, you're like, you have so much, you still have some energy, and because you've thought of this, you want to release that you're pissed off with somebody, and you just shovel.
Yeah,
you shovel your heart out.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow, I already shoveled like it's 50 centimeters deep, and I find it therapeutic.
It is. There's scientific evidence. My son would laugh because he's always like, "Okay, mom, you're always saying it's scientifically proven," but it is that nature helps us.
Yes.
It helps our mood, helps our wellness, helps our well-being.
Yes,
keeps us healthy. And even if it doesn't have to be a huge forest hike, or people often think it has to be something really big. It can be these small things, like digging a hole, and then you leave all that frustration there too.
Yeah.
And the sweat that went in. So then when did you produce your first chocolate?
Chocolate.
Wow, how did that come about?
2018. I mean, Luchie has always been, because after we finished our cacao production training, she went on to study more chocolate making in the US and bean to bar chocolate making. And then she also took classes in France, in Valrhona.
Oh, wow.
Because we really wanted to do things right.
Amazing.
We wanted to do things right. So we were a firm believer of, if you're going to have a business, we come from a middle class family. So we know that we won't have endless amounts of money and then we just hire people and then they run the show.
Yeah.
We knew that we are going to be there. We're going to watch our business grow. We're going to hire people. So we said, if we don't understand chocolates and we're just going to hire people, it's going to be, you know, we're always going to be in the mercy of some chef or so. One of us needs to learn it. And she's always been big on baking. And, you know, I'm more of the savory person. I can Thai food and this food, Chinese, I like making that. But she's more into baking, measuring. She likes that. So by 2018, I believe it was Agriscape. It was an Abu Dhabi event. And it was an investment forum. It was an investment forum for agriculture. And to be there, what we told the organizers to promote our social enterprise, what we told them is, look, my sister makes chocolates. So we are going to make, I think it was like 40 boxes of bonbons that we are going to give your guests, your VIPs. And that was her first, I may say, commercial chocolates. That was 2018, early 2018. So we gave it like an exchange. We're gonna be here, have a booth, talk about our agri-social enterprise, and in exchange, we're going to give you these boxes of bonbons. And I think that's the first. And then we did our first pop-up in Dara City Center, November of 2018. And we really didn't, but we had 2 months to prepare for that, like 2 to 3 months. So when we committed to it, we said, okay, now all these packaging ideas and all these ideas, experimenting, the hobby, now it's different. It's gonna be a business because we have a pop-up. It means we'll have customers.
Yes.
We need somebody to stand there, sell the things, sell our chocolates, and
You'll have a supply, you'll have a demand.
Yes.
So you got to keep production going.
yeah, because for a long time you're just like, we're going to sell this, and you never really know when it's gonna be until okay, we committed, we paid for this pop-up, and it has to happen. And I remember Luchie and I, when your sister's working in the same business, you'll always have these fights, and I'm like, it has to happen because we already paid for the pop-up. And she's like, but I'm not ready. And I said, when will you be ready? We've been working on this for years. That it cannot be just a hobby. We have to go to market. And I think a lot of people will have these, this kind of challenge to bring to market. And
Guilty.
yeah.
This is a discussion my husband and I had once
bring to
because he's
market.
more like, don't make it a hobby, go for it and do it. We'll always never feel ready enough because there's unknowns.
Yeah.
And then what I've figured out through that process, and probably Luchie has too, you just got to jump into the water.
You have to.
Otherwise, it'll take forever.
It'll just be a hobby, and money's just going out. And because by 2018, so I started my hotel supplies business 2009, 2010. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I was already 9 years into my hotel supplies business. So I've had my shares of mistakes. And so I told her, look, if you're never going to bring it to market, when is it going to be a business? It's just going to be a hobby where the both of us are just, putting money out. But we need to get back the money that we have already invested. And so that's 2018 November, and we still have people who met us at that time, and they remember us, and they're like, "Yeah, we met you in 2018 November." And like, really? Wow, it's amazing that you find people who still remember you even if they met you once. People we met in Borge Park in 2019, they met us in January, and they're like, "I met you, remember us?" And you're like, "Ah." In your back of your head,
Those
like,
markets can be such a blur
because you meet so
sometimes.
many people.
Right.
But sometimes you can meet, certain people who just stand out, and you remember them because they said something or bought something. You're like, yeah, I remember you. I actually remember you, and it really feels great when you have people who believe in the brand. And even now that we've opened the factory for public viewing. They're bringing friends, and they're telling us that it's been really inspiring. Hearing your story, seeing what you're doing, and we even have friends who have, they're also entrepreneurs, and they started, as a small business, and we sort of started in the same year, and they tell us, I actually wanted to stop this year, but I've seen what you've done and what you've reached, and I feel energized that I can reach this, this level as well. And I tell her, one of our friends, yeah, you have like a great product, just be patient, and you'll meet, that investor, because we got invested early in 2022. So that has, sort of changed the ballgame for us, from being like a micro, I call it like a micro business. Now we're a small business.
Sure.
We're
But
a
at least
small
you had like
business.
proof of concept and something tangible
Yes.
to show an investor.
Yeah.
And for all of those people inspired by you, I'm also one of them. Like, you just make me want to keep going. You're showing us what's possible and doing something really beautiful and healthy. It's amazing.
Yeah, it can be done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And all of your chocolate, like there's some with like no sweetener whatsoever. What do you typically, I'm gonna get to the ingredients without telling us too much information, but how do you make, so we talked about healthy chocolate.
Yeah.
Which I totally agree with you. Love dark chocolate. And some of the brands, I grew up in the US and, you know, we're not known for chocolate, but some of the brands, and I don't know if it's that they change so much over time that I don't recognize them, or after having lived outside the US for over 25 years and tasting really proper good food and understanding that there's too much sugar and additives and other things in these foods that shouldn't and don't even need to be there. Because sometimes it can be certain different things, like any kind of recipe you find online. Often there's too much sugar, too many sweets, and you can't even taste the key ingredient.
Correct.
Like in the chocolate, you can't taste the chocolate.
Yeah.
So what is it that you do to make your chocolates healthier?
Yeah. So number one, the hero in all of our chocolates is cacao. It's not milk, it's not sugar, it's not sweetener, it's cacao. So we bring back, even educate people about the health benefits of cacao. So that's the number one thing. And number two, the ingredients. So instead of relying on sugar as sweetener, we use dates, we use dried fruits, and this makes all the difference. And then the most that we do in terms of sugar, if we had to put cane sugar, it will be very minimal. And a lot, you know, some people complain about it, but we tell them, like, look, we educate them about the, you know, some people actually they know, but they need to be reminded about the, you know, why is cane sugar, you know, refined sugar bad for you? So we need to remind people that, and we use coconut sugar, and even coconut sugar, you know, it's the closest to maintaining the gastronomy.
Yes.
Because for us, it's important that it's not just healthy, but it has to taste great as well. Because we don't want to eat chocolates and you're like, okay, this is healthy. You know, because you don't eat chocolates anyway. We shouldn't be eating chocolates like every hour, morning, noon, and night. No, it's about gastronomy. And if it's something which is good, you don't eat it like a sandwich. You eat it with, you know, you appreciate the look, you taste it, you eat it. Don't rush eating it. So we say, okay, if we use coconut sugar, it can still have the same gastronomic delight as you would with cane sugar, if you had to use cane sugar, but it's easier on the glycemic index. And we always tell people, you're not supposed to eat it 3 times a day. You know, everything is in moderation, because even mangoes, for example, even grapes, do you really eat that 3 times a day? Of course, everything in moderation. So if you had to choose chocolates, choose ours, because one, it tastes great and it'll be easier on your glycemic index. This is what we tell people. And very, very soon, and by the way, the reason why we're not such huge big fans of stevia or these other forms of the sweeteners is because at the end of we know for sure there's some effect on our stomach.
Yes. It affects your whole microbiome.
Yes.
Actually, especially the artificial ones are not good for your microbiome, which more scientifically proven, saying it again, more research is showing us day after day, time and time again, that the more we damage our microbiome, the more inflammation we have, the more health issues we can have.
Maybe it's 0 calorie, but is it really good for the body?
Right.
Yeah, your calories are kept at bay, but then how about your other organs? How about your other, so, and then, you know, okay, I know that a lot of people like stevia, but some people like us, like, you get diarrhea from
That's true.
So, you know, we are going to release something, but we always tell people, look, and we've been already educating our staff. If people are going to buy anything from us that has stevia in the future, you need to tell them it will have some aftertaste.
Yes.
And 2, there's a risk of, side effect.
Yeah.
So you have to tell them that, because that, you know, that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So and then we try to, incorporate other superfoods in our ingredients. We're the only ones who have, I think, Japanese green tea matcha with moringa. You know, matcha might be popular now because of, like, it's in.
Yeah.
But since 2018, we've always known that matcha, in terms of antioxidant, it's like just high up there. Plus you put moringa, which is such a powerhouse. It's, it's just great. So we don't just make white chocolate, but we put matcha with moringa. So
I haven't tried that one yet, so I'm gonna buy that one
you
today.
have to taste it.
I
today.
will,
You
I
have
will.
to taste it
I
today.
love matcha. I've always loved it. In around, I don't know what year, 2016, 17, we were fortunate enough, we visited Japan. And my son was very influenced by that trip.
Wow.
I think loves cooking because of that trip, and could see the Japanese chefs doing
Yeah.
different things, and really loves matcha. But I've not tried matcha in chocolate.
You have to taste it. You have to taste it. And we also have a gold bar, which has turmeric and black pepper. So, it might sound weird, and either people love it or hate it. This is what we find. Yes, we
I'm
have.
gonna love it.
Yeah.
I love all of it.
We have those standard sort of traditional flavors like fruit and nut. But instead of just putting raisins, we put cranberries. Because cranberries are, they have more nutrients than just sultana.
Nice.
So we incorporate that.
The last one that I tried of yours, it was like almost no sugar or no sweet, and it was unbelievable because
Maybe wide awake or post-workout love.
post-workout love, I think
Yeah,
it was.
90% with plant-based proteins.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was so amazing and so unique. And I like, if I'm gonna have like something of a chocolate, usually it's in the evening. Sometimes it might be like middle of the day and I'm having, I don't drink much coffee after noon usually. But from time to time I'm like, okay, I'll just make a quick espresso and maybe I'll have a piece of chocolate with that. And then, but if I'm really gonna go for it, I'll do it at night. And I've had that and it was just so different because you could taste the chocolate, the cacao. You could, it was such a unique experience.
Yeah, nowadays, to have even 10% of cacao, of real whole cacao beans there in a chocolate would be a luxury if you're buying in grocery shops. And it's actually good that there's now there's a wave of, people after the pandemic are just more aware.
Yeah.
And I see a surge of healthier options.
I noticed that too. And also here after Expo, some of the pavilions, like Peru, showed all their superfoods. Like I didn't know about camu camu and the vitamin C content. And then I do see some of these things now being sold. I think kind of post-pandemic, as people were more experimental cooking at home.
Yeah.
And then here in Dubai, Expo brought our attention to a lot of food-based things. So that got me curious, but I wouldn't begin to know what to do if I had cacao at home. But I wouldn't need to because I can buy your chocolate.
Yes. But you can do a lot of things with cacao, you know? And I'm sure people who listen to you are, they have some level of awareness when it comes to food and nutrition. But just to remind people again, cacao is one of the highest, or if not the highest source of plant-based iron. Yeah, it is rich in magnesium. And magnesium, we need it for ourselves. We need it for better sleep. We need it. You need it. It has calcium. It has fibers. And the thing which tells what triggers your brain when you exercise to be happy, just when you exercise, are the same molecules that's in cacao, which tell you to be happy. There's what do you call this? We've written it here. We have norepinephrine, your dopamines, just to remind people that, look, it's not just the deliciousness of chocolates, but what does it really give you aside from the appeasing your palate?
I love that. I love that. And I saw a doctor somewhere in social media write a blurb saying that in order for our bodies to absorb vitamin D, which so many of us are deficient in, we need magnesium.
Yes.
To absorb certain things. It helps us sleep better, which in turn also helps blood sugar. So it's just this kind of trickle down effect that if people are eating things with quality ingredients, it makes such a huge difference.
And I heard from one of our nutritionist friends when we were talking to her, Mary Christine, it was from her that I heard about the gut health, that she actually as a nutritionist, she's recommending chocolates, dark chocolates, cacao, because it's good for the gut.
That's
And,
amazing. Not
you
a lot of
know?
nutritionists are taught that, depending on where they're educated or if they're curious and they seek out more information.
Mhm.
I think it's becoming more mainstream now,
Yeah.
but traditionally, people were just taught about restriction,
Yes.
which
yes.
is,
Yeah. Don't eat
as
this,
we're
don't
seeing,
eat
it's
that.
yeah,
This is
it's
bad
not.
for you.
It doesn't seem to be helping because
Correct.
people are still maybe overweight or obese or struggling, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and it's not their fault. I think it's just maybe the approach hasn't been educational enough to help us understand what's in our food.
Yeah. So it's good now. What's you know, we hate what has happened to the pandemic and all the losses it's brought us, but you know, after the pandemic, there's just more awareness and more interest from people.
Amazing.
You know, because they had time to research
Right.
and read.
Were you still able
read.
to sell chocolate during the pandemic?
Sorry?
Were you still able to sell chocolate during the
Oh
pandemic?
yeah.
Or-
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's funny because in the pandemic, we gained more exposure because health and chocolates and food delivery became a big thing during the pandemic. And people, we sort of met people online because all of us were in social media. All of us were waiting to hear what does the government
Maybe that's
say.
when
you know?
I found you guys. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like it was before. No, I think it was before.
I think it was before.
I think it.
I think
yeah,
it was
It was
before.
before,
Yeah.
definitely.
So in some ways, the pandemic has reset our mindsets. It's given us time to read and communicate and build new friendships, which otherwise we would not have made if we were just in the sometimes in the rat race that we are in. We were just all so busy before the pandemic doing this. We need to do this, and all of us just had to chill, have to stay home. And we had time to be in social media, and that gave us a lot of chance to communicate with our audience, with our customers. And yeah, so we were doing quite well during the pandemic, and we had even a lot of collaborations that time because we were doing deliveries. Like we had our own driver, but like there was one restaurant we were collaborating with, and they said, "You have a driver, we don't have a driver. Is it possible for your driver to,
Yeah.
Seva? That's actually Seva table." And we're like, "Yeah, why not? It's rather than you getting a full time driver, and it's just a matter of
Yeah,
arranging
supporting each
things,
other.
supporting each
Yeah.
other." Yeah, and it was like that during the pandemic.
Amazing. What's your favorite thing that you make?
It has to be the monster cookies. Because
Aaron, I think I and Aaron would agree.
It's
They
the monster
are
cookies.
delicious.
Yeah.
If you haven't tried it, you're in Dubai. You must. It's like
The monster cookies, and then the hot chocolate.
Yes, the hot chocolate
Yeah.
is also amazing.
Hot chocolate because you can have it every day, every morning, even evening. And I'm not also a big coffee drinker. I like coffee, but not always. Some people cannot, live a day without coffee. I'm one of those. Yeah. But I'm one of those people. I'll have a coffee today, and maybe my next coffee would be after a few days or next week.
Oh wow.
But I can have our hot chocolate only every day because I love it. I love the taste. I love that we have the option for 70% dark, and I cannot go lower than lower in terms of cacao.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you're already used to dark chocolate, you're a dark chocolate.
Yeah,
person
no,
already.
your hot chocolate is delicious. It's a very unique flavor that you have to try it because it's almost tasting like nutty,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is so special, and that would make it something where it's not tasting like just hot chocolate that you would drink every day.
Yeah, because
It's
ours
really
are it's made of whole cacao beans. This is what we always tell people. It means it's not cocoa powder. And that's why
Yeah.
they come in tablets because they're still chocolate, but it's not its fruit. It's not fully melted, and it's not tempered so that it melts fast. Yeah, and you don't need, and I don't need to put milk, which is
Yes.
good. I'm trying to avoid, we're trying to be more plant-based.
Plant-based.
So having a drink which does not need milk is so good. And it's so creamy because it has natural cocoa butter.
Yes. That's delicious. And actually the coffee that I'm drinking is a mocha with their chocolate.
Yes.
And it was a delicious combination. So maybe I'm gonna start having mochas in the morning.
Yeah, you
Cause
should.
I
should.
stopped, the first time I had a mocha, I thought, wow, this is amazing. But I actually, wherever I was in the world, stopped drinking it because it was too much sugar or chocolate
Yeah.
syrup or not any good ingredients.
You know, the way most of the world has gotten used to the European way of hot cocoa, hot
Mhm.
chocolate, which is it's heavy,
Mhm.
it's sweet, it's very milky, you know. But the way we are making it is more of the Latin American way, which is light, don't need milk. If you want to put sugar, you can put sugar, but even without sugar, it's fine. You just need freshly boiled water, and if you have time, you can sort of cook it there.
Mhm.
And that's why you can drink it even in a summer stay, because we still sell a lot of hot chocolate even in summer. I mean, summer here in the UAE. So and that makes all the difference. And some people are not get used to it, but those who find out that that can be done, they're converts to the Latin American way of making hot chocolate, which is more of the traditional way of making hot chocolate, the way the Aztecs and the Mayans were
Right,
doing it.
yeah, they were doing it long before
Yeah.
Europeans
Exactly,
discovered chocolate
exactly.
later. And then put their own spin on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the way that you're doing. And thank you so much for taking the time to
Welcome.
share all of this with us. And like I said, you're really an inspiration. We've been wanting to do this for a while and
Time.
a long time. Things, people are busy, and it's been an honor and an inspiration actually to watch your business grow. So inspiring. And especially to see good businesses, good people doing good things. They care about the world, they care about the environment, they care about what they're doing. And we're just so lucky for those of us that live here in Dubai that we get to try it. If you're not in Dubai and you're traveling to Dubai, you can find Chocolat still in Dubai Mall.
Yes, inside Candylicious. We're in the better for you treats section. And of course, we'd be happy to have you here in our little space here in Warsan, beside the big Warsan plant nursery where we're doing tours. You can see how we're doing things. You can find out more about cacao and chocolates. And we're even letting people taste real cacao fruit. So you have to come back with Erin, with your family, and do this tour with us.
I will do that. That's been on my list because my parents
Have
are
to.
visiting, and I said they love touring things like this. So and Aaron's always like, Mom, when are we gonna go? When are we gonna go? I'm always in school. I don't get to do the cool things. So we'll definitely come back, do the tour. I highly recommend it, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Yeah, and we'll be happy to have you over in the first farm-to-table chocolate factory in the Middle East. Go Chocolat.
Yay, thank you so much.
Welcome, welcome.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you soon.